Hi, so as we keep on moving with some of the things that you might want to consider before recording, I want to show you why I have different recording modes on my floating toolbar for recording. Straight from Mexico City, my name is Juanchis, and let's just jump into Reaper. There's nothing to show really. I'm going to start creating tracks and naming them accordingly to whatever I have. To begin with, I want to clarify again that I have under Options menu, the new recording that overlaps existing media items. I have this configuration to split existing media items and create new takes by default. I don't have the tape mode because I don't want my recordings to be destructive, meaning that I will lose whatever I have behind it. I want to create new media items in separate lanes because I prefer to use lanes rather than takes most of the time. And I will have the always add takes to new recorded items when looping. So first of all, let's talk about two different sources. One thing is when you are recording MIDI, and one thing is when you're recording audio, right? So for this first group, let's call this audio. So whenever I'm recording one single take, let's suppose I'm going to right click right here. I'm going to click time selection and auto punch and let me float my recording toolbar, right? I'll leave it down here. So whenever I'm just trying to punch in something from the beginning of my time selection towards the end of my time selection, I might have this thing armed. I'm going to have this set up as my microphone, whatever, and I'm going to hit, and I'm going to hit record right here. And you can see that it's only recording in this time selection, and now it's done. Whenever I go and do another pass, because I'm trying different versions of this, I will do it again, and this is going to create a new lane. The issue with this one is that you can see that both of these circles are in yellow. That means that they will both play at the same time. That's why whenever I'm trying to record different lanes and just listening to the top of one, I'm going to hit my shortcut that arms and creates a comp lane. You can see that it instantly arm and comp lane. You will see that whenever I do another pass, I will do it like this, and I can start recording in different lanes, lane number 1, and now this is going to be in lane number 2, and now I can start comping on lane number 3, and I can just do it, select them, double click the comp lane, I'm out of my comp lane, and now I'm really done with this. This is one of the versions. You can arm and comp lane if you're thinking about not playing all of them. The other version, let's call it lanes at the same time, right? Works better if you're trying to layer stuff like I showed on my previous video. So whenever I'm playing something, I'm going to start doing something like this. And then I want to do my left hand or my right hand because I'm laying that harmony of something that I cannot play properly with both hands at the same time. And now whenever I do something like this, and whenever I play this back and this has a virtual instrument in it, it's going to send MIDI of both of them into that instrument. And that works. That's another way of doing it. You could also use this one at the top, but if you're layering stuff for the same instrument, you might want to do something like this. Another benefit of doing it like this is that whenever you're layering the MIDI, you might want to add one single layer of automation, let's call it modulation wheel, or any other knob on your MIDI controller. So let me add another pass on this, and I can start doing my modulation wheel, and now I have 3 versions, and all of them are going to play on top of each other. That works really well, because if you do it by takes, what you will end up doing is, in my case, whenever I set up the loop, I'm going to start creating different takes because I'm trying different passes in one single section because I'm just trying to get a new idea, right? So I might want to do something like maybe this chord, or maybe that chord, or maybe this chord, or maybe that chord, right? And takes are takes. Whenever you zoom in, you can hit T on your keyboard and you can move ahead under take 4, 5, or shift plus T, and you can move backwards on the takes, and you can also start comping between takes, right? Like you can split the item, hitting E on your keyboard, and you can start taking different versions of the takes and making that one single thing. To start cleaning everything up, you might also want to know that if you hold shift and you click this really small arrow you will only see the comped lane, right? You can also start zooming in to here, and from there, if you start splitting for whatever reason and you activate the comping mode, you will see down below that you have this small blue light, and if I click it once, I can start switching between the different lanes, lane 1, 2, and 3, or my edit number 1, right, and my comp. So maybe I want this from this one, maybe I want that from that one, and maybe I want that from the other one, right? And that's another way of working. I double click, I exit, and now I'm good to go. Another way of working that is also really useful for audio, I have talked this about a couple of times. So maybe you're doing something like layering. Let's suppose that you're doing something like vocals, right? And you might usually have something like background vocal left, background vocal left, background vocal right. And let me just duplicate this track. And I will just pan them accordingly using one single shortcut that works. And this will be my recording track, right? I will record everything in this track because I want all of my background vocals to be called background vocals, not drag for layering, right? So now whenever I'm doing different passes of this, I will probably end up with version 1, version 2, and I will start asking for, can you be a little bit sharper in this? You can hit the note properly, you can take care of your breath, watch out for the intention, whatever, and I'm done with my takes, right? Since these are takes, you might want to work this as takes, or you might also want to work this as lanes. I like to work with lanes because, for example, what I would usually do is maybe have something like this, and I can just start duplicating the different ones, the different items that I need on the different tracks. And I have everything still saved right here. This doesn't have to be played back to the artist on the go, like it's not necessary. But let's suppose that you're using takes. Again, it also works because you can bring one take here, you can have different takes, and you can start switching the takes, and you can also use options lock to active take, so I cannot switch them unless I hit the shortcut on my keyboard, because some people like to watch all of the takes as long as there's space available. I don't like it because it gets really clustery super fast. So let's suppose I have something like that, and I have something like that. So I have 4 different takes, and I would usually ahead of time would also lower the level of this, at least -9 if I'm doing some doubling stuff, because I want my singer, musician to always be able to listen themselves above everything else, and for the layers to be just a reference under the mix of whatever they're doing. And I would have something like a group that's called music, like that's anything that I'm not touching in this specific session, and I have X many tracks, right? I have them collapsed, and I can have the music also at, I don't know, -9, -6, something like that. So I'm just working my recording session with 2 faders actually, because I'm just handling the audio itself of whatever I'm recording if I'm doing one single instrument at a time, and I have the rest of my session in another fader. This works really, really well. For me personally, this is the way to go. It's super fast, because in the same group, you can also have ready by now something like a reverb that all of the vocals might share, even with some sort of sidechain, because you might want to have on your shortcuts how to insert a reacomp, and just dragging the send creates the send into 3 and 4, and as long as it's on auxiliary inputs, you already have a sidechain compression into your reverb. This is really fast. I know I was like speeding through it, but whenever I'm working on a session, I don't even mention it. Like I'm just hitting buttons and creating stuff on the fly. And that's when people say like, oh, damn, you're fast. Like that's crazy fast how the screen is just moving around, right? It's really important to know what's going to happen once you hit the arm track. That's why, as I said, I have different arm modes, right? I have my usual traditional arm mode that will create different lanes, and they will start playing back one against each other unless I click one or the other. I will have my arm and comp, that's the one that I showed right here, my arm and comp lane that remember that if you hit shift and left click, you will only see this and you can scroll between your different lanes or edits, or you can create a new comp from this by right clicking here and comping into new lane and whatever. There are a ton of options. And the last one that's really useful for me is that whenever I'm trying to print virtual instruments, because there's nothing really important to talk about, is I will probably end up having something like play media, let's call it that, and record out. This is a custom action. This is really important. And this is how you build a custom action. You have toggle record for selected tracks. You have set track record mode to output. And then you have set selected track monitor track media while recording. What that will do is that even if you have one virtual instrument, you can start printing the audio. So let's suppose I have my Search.xt because it's a great free plugin and I want to start printing whatever audio I have, so I can start turning off or bypassing my virtual plugins so I can move on and move faster with my session. So since I have this, what Reaper will do is it will play back from this MIDI item and it will record the audio output. And now I have it, right? Like that's another way of printing. I also have like maybe the only other thing that could be useful here is that maybe I just have my MIDI right here. And whenever I play it, it's going to usually play back. Of course, I have Reaper muted because it's not important in this session. And I have a shortcut for whatever I have under my time selection. I'm going to render tracks to stereo stem tracks obeying time selection, right? I usually try to be really careful with the tails of my audio. So let's suppose this synth has a small reverb tail to it. I can just select the track that I want to print. And now that's done, right? I have it right here. This makes the previous track instantly muted. And now I can just bypass this previous plugin. I can probably create a bigger action and try to figure out if I can render it, select the previous track, and bypass the effects on that track. So what it would usually end up doing is something like this. But honestly, it's one more click. I don't think it's way too time consuming for me. And now I have it, right? And I can hide this track. And remember that you can always find that under your track manager section. Whatever tracks you have hidden. There are a ton of things that you can start figuring out on your workflow. I'm planning out a live Q&A here on my YouTube channel. Let me know in the comments if you're interested so I can know if I can try and make a schedule that works for everyone. Probably the best schedule will be either super late during the week or early-ish during Saturday, any other day during the week. So I can also have people in Europe stop by. If you like this kind of videos, be sure to check down below if you have subscribed to my channel, if you hit the notification bell, leave a comment, or maybe you want to stop by my Buy Me a Coffee link and support my work. If not, you can also go check out the rest of the Reaper Squad channels. They are doing also fantastic stuff. You can learn a lot in every single one of them. If you have any other questions, you can also hit me up on my social media. It's also linked down below. Straight from Mexico City, my name is Juanchis, and thanks for listening.